Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. We are built by Sparkies for Sparkies. Our vision is clear: make money, build wealth, be kind. Our mission is deliberate. We help electrical, solar, and aircon business owners generate revenue, drive profits, and control their time. If you would like to hear more about our program, please reach out. I'll chuck the link in the show notes and enjoy the podcast. We always hope it's beneficial for your business. We hope it cuts through noise and helps you understand what's important and what's non-negotiable. Thanks so much for all your support so far. We appreciate you. We love you. Enjoy the podcast. 5 simple ways to make more money in your electrical business, your aircon business, your solar business. Part 5. Coming at you. So this is such an interesting topic. We're sort of a couple of episodes in and we're talking about ongoing jobs or an open job or a job that you quote and then you do, and it's over multiple stages, over multiple weeks, sometimes over years, more than likely over 6 to 12 months, something like that. And how do we get that right? And for some of you, I want to this is the easiest way to explain it. This is the easiest thing to get wrong and the hardest thing to correct. Now, let me go here. If you take one thing out of this pod and one thing only, ongoing jobs, open jobs, so jobs over 20 grand to 2 million plus, whatever, they are the easiest thing to get wrong. And the first place you can get it wrong is in the office. Now, picture you're quoting and you're tired. Picture you're quoting and you don't know your break-even rates. Picture you're quoting and you're delayed. This is funny to talk about. Have you ever told someone that you're halfway through a quote only to never have opened the quote? Then you open the quote and you've got some good questions to ask, but you've told them that you've opened it and you're like, I can't ask these questions now because they think I'm halfway through it. And it's crazy. So one of the first things you need to do when a quote comes into your inbox is just book 30 to 45 to 60 minutes in just to have a surface level glance at it to be like, well, what's going on? And you should have templated RFI or request for information emails, sort of generic, but you can bespoke them. So we've got lots of them for commercial, high-end resi, new build, whatever. Hey, here's the 30 main questions you might want to ask. You look at it and be like, hey, the plans have answered that, or get that email back to them. So that puts you on the front foot. So getting back to something quickly with some good questions puts you on the front foot. The better questions you ask, the better you look. The better questions you ask, the more in-depth questions you ask, the better you look. Don't make the builder's life, the commercial client's life, don't make their life more complicated than it has to be. Too many of us they're talking too much about stuff that doesn't matter. Just get the questions answered, get the quote in their inbox as soon as you can. Now, I said this in the last pod, but your calendar is just a time budget. It's just you telling your time where to go. Just like a budget for you personally tells your money where to go. You know the rules here. If you don't have a personal budget, you don't know where your money's going. If you don't have a business budget, you don't know where your money's going. If you don't work to a calendar, if I'm too busy, I'm too busy for that. I'm too important for that. If you just let someone else run your calendar. Someone else is controlling your life. You're literally a puppeteer on strings and someone's pulling you this way with a phone call, pulling you that way with a text message, pulling you this way with social media, pulling you back with an email. And you're just feeling out of control because you are out of control. Have you ever felt out of control? It's probably because you are out of control. And it's probably because you're not in control because you haven't done the foundational step of controlling your money, controlling your calendar, controlling your time. And too many of us are getting swayed with the breeze. And it's like, and you're feeling pulled in all directions because you are pulled in all directions. So if you want to change your life, show me your calendar. Show me your calendar. I'll show you what you value. The easiest way to start this is by starting to book things in. You've got your calendar and you work out, okay, what's important? And I'm going to put that in because that's important, right? That's start time, finish time. And then when I finish, I'm going to go home and be present. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be present. If you're not working to a calendar, you can bleed out everywhere. It's like, 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, I'm working. 7 p.m. Tuesday night, I'm working. Saturday, it might as well be Friday. Hacking the mainframe. So calendar, control your time. The smartest thing where you can start with this, if you're like, where do I start? What do you want me to do? And you're spilling coffee all over yourself right now. If you're doing that, and let me just, this is a consistent battle. Your calendar is a consistent battle. People are vying for your time. Are they the right people? Items are going at your time. Are they the right items? You got to work this stuff out. Staff, they want your time. I want it now. The meatloaf, Ma, I want it now. People want your time and they want it now. Can they have it? If it's a free for all, yeah, just call me whenever. I'm all good. Call me whenever. But you need to be to some sort of calendar you need to be operating to. So if a quote comes in, set the time, set the appropriate time aside. It's the easiest thing to get wrong. A quote in the office is so easy to get wrong. I'm just going to send it. Have you ever sent a quote? Bam, send. It's like, my shoulders can relax now. Oh my gosh, that weight off me. Now, I say this a lot and I need you to get this. When you send a quote, you got to please two people. The person in the moment, who you are right now. I need that short-term dopamine hit to get that quote out because that person's been on my back, that client's been on my back, and I've had a living with it every night for the last week, and now it's finally off my chest, and I've got it off. Now I can sink back into my chair and relax. You've got to please the person right now who might want work. You might need work. You might want that relationship. You might need to build that relationship. You might be in damage control on that relationship. You might want a bit of forecasting. And the best thing about ongoing jobs, they give you an element of forecasting. We're busy for 2 years. When you're busy for 2 years, it makes hiring very, very simple. When you're busy for 2 or 3 weeks, hiring is a very complex discussion. Oh, should I hire? Should I not hire? I've got this opportunity. I've got a week and a half booked out. Very, very, very hard to make a good decision with such a shortened workload. When you got work for 1 to 2 years, forget about it. It's very easy to make that decision. And it's very easy to, now you're looking at controlling your clients and making, that sounded bad, but now you're looking at building those, maintaining and retaining relationships with clients and staff members to ensure that you've still got them in 2 years' time. So it's a really interesting concept, but you're pleasing the person right now who needs the job or wants the job. And you've got lots of things in there. You've got ego, insecurity, fear of success, fear of failure, knowledge of numbers, lack of knowledge of numbers, all this kind of stuff. And you got to please the person in 18 months or 2 years' time. And what do they want to see? They want to see the relationship still intact with the client, unless the client's a dickhead. They want to see still got the same staff and clients. You in 2 years' time, what do you want to see? You want to see some money, more than likely. So the easiest thing to get wrong are small to medium to large size quotes, 20 grand to 2 million, whatever. And they're the hardest things to correct. So if you've locked into a price for $1 million, 500 grand, 200 grand, 100 grand, and you're like, oh, it's cool. In my terms and conditions, I say, if materials rise, I can change my pricing. Is that actually going to happen? It might not. You can put whatever you want in a contract. If you've got staff, you can put whatever you want in that contract. But if it doesn't supersede Fair Work's idea of what a fair contract is, if it doesn't supersede the law, if it's not in a better position than the law, you can get stuffed. Your contract's just a bit of paper. It doesn't mean anything. Your contract, more than likely, you signed the client's contract. They're not signing your contract. You're a subcontractor. You're an electrical, solar, aircon company. They're probably not signing your contracts. And if they are, fantastic. But you would be in the minority. And if you can get that, that's great. And if you can have these open discussions, hey, I'm a bit conscious about price rises. If I send you the bill now and you pay it, great. Then I can lock these prices in. If you don't, there might be some fluctuations. But more than likely, you're going to be on the back foot here. And we want to put you on the front foot. Any relationship puts you on the front foot. The hardest conversations are a lot easier when that person loves you. It's just the facts. You can take someone you love, something about you that's deep and dark and extremely personal, and they're like, hey, let's work through that together. That's the kind of thing you want to establish the relationship with those clients too. Not that you're going to take them some deep, dark, personal secrets. Maybe, maybe not. But you want to be able to have hard conversations with the people that matter. And your clients, if they don't matter to you, maybe you've got to work on that relationship. So you're the easiest to get wrong. And why I'm drumming that in is because I got stuck at a stage of business at about 6 to 8 staff members. I started to get too big for my own boots, and I was stretching a little bit out of my comfort zone, which I'm all about, by the way, but stretching a little bit out of my own comfort zone. And I was not 100% on top of some numbers, and I wasn't 100% on top of our culture and our staff. And I quoted these jobs for a client I don't even really like, and we won these jobs and we lost money. And we got through it, and I'm a big hopeful guy. Like, I'm incredibly optimistic. And so I can sit here 15 years down the track and I can be like, that's all good. It doesn't matter because that job grew our team, and it forced us to get our pricing right, and it forced us to create some culture. It forced me to look at jobs. It forced me to look at quality of hours. It did a whole world of good. And it did, because we got through it and we pushed through it. But the other side of it is I didn't have to go through that to learn those lessons. I really didn't have to do that to myself and the business. I really didn't have to pull the handbrake up on the middle of the highway. The business is cooking. We're making money. We're building wealth. Doughy. Going around in circles for 2 years. I wish if I could grab myself by the shoulders in 2011 and be like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to, take some extra time on the quote. Maybe you need to book it in. Maybe you need to know your break-even rates. Maybe you need to know more. Maybe you need to ask some better questions. Maybe you shouldn't, when you send a quote, feel this immediate elation. Maybe you were celebrating too early. Maybe you didn't know the cost centers of that job. Maybe you should have asked someone you knew some better questions. And you in 2 years, what would you say to yourself now? It's so funny to think about, but you know when you become a tradie and you get your license? I just renewed my electrical license, by the way. Awesome. Got it yesterday. My kids were like, you're a hero. And I'm like, not all heroes wear capes, but I had a cape on. Imagine that. So it's, you know when you first get your electrical license, or if you first become a tradie, and you're like, I am actually a weapon. No one's ever existed that is as good as me. And then you get 5 years down the track and you're like, I was really not that good at that point. And then you get 10 years down the track and you're like, wow, I was really, really, really not that good 5 years ago. Forget when I even became a tradie. So you can think really high of yourself, and I'm all for self-worth and all that kind of stuff. You guys have heard enough from me about that. But business is the same. The further you get in business, the more you're like, wow, I can't believe we used to operate off a napkin. Wow, I can't believe I used to do that. I can't believe we got away with that. Hopefully not on-site work. I'm not talking about that. That should always, always, always be good. Always be incredibly safe. Your product should stand the test of time. The best thing to associate your product with is does the work stand the test of time for 100 years? That's the best way to go about it. You should be using the best fixings. You should be using great materials. You should be taking the additional care. You should be putting in the TLC that if someone else came up to it, your rival came up to it, your arch nemesis, do you have an arch nemesis in your town? I didn't have an arch nemesis, but I definitely had someone who was better looking than me, fitter than me, had more staff than me, was making more money than me, had a better house than me. And I remember like I was driving to work at early, like I had to be a wholesaler at 6, right when they opened, and it was at 5:45, and I was driving through Caringbah, which is past the hockey fields, if you're familiar with the Sutherland Shire, which you should all be familiar with the Sutherland Shire, God's country. It's God's country. And I'm driving along, and I'm like, I'm early, I'm motivated, I'm feeling good, and guess who pulls out in front of me about 100 meters down? My arch nemesis. And this guy's a legend, by the way, a total legend. but he was just that person you aspire to be. Do you have one of those people that's like, oh, I want to be that company? And it's cool to look at because, you know, while you're looking forward, you forget that you're probably someone that other people aspire to be too. You know, you're looking forward, like, oh, when I get to that point, I will have made it. When I get to that point, I will be successful. And successful is such a subjective word. And I want to encourage you to be like, what does success mean for you? Because success isn't all about money. It can't all be about money. If it's all about money and I was to give you all the money in the world, but I was to take away your relationships and family and hobbies, things that you love doing, you would refuse that deal. And you'd be like, all this money, but I got no one to spend it with. I got all this time, but I can't do the things I love with the people I love. So it's not all about money. It can't all be about money, but it should be a little bit about money. And in the project sense, it's what we want to get through today is we want to get through your break-even rates. And what is your break-even rate made up of? Because in a project, when you're quoting hours and when you're throwing multiple hours, when you're throwing many hours at a project, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, that's 1,000 hours. But what are those 1,000 hours made up of? When you look at the 1,000 hours, you got what I call a fixed variable situation. So a fixed variable situation is some things are fixed, some things are set in stone, and some things are incredibly variable. So you look at what's fixed. You look at the situation, and not going to say wages are fixed because they're going to fluctuate a little bit, but more than likely your tradies are paid within a $5 realm. It's like between 45 and 50 or 45 and 55. Probably it's not going to be more than a $10 window on your tradies. But that $10, who you send to that person, the 45 or 55 person, that actually matters to the end result of the job. So what makes up a break-even rate? You've got the wage component. That's more or less fixed. You got super, definitely fixed. Definitely fixed. Don't try and pay 11% on that. That is actually illegal. And you don't want to be messing with any illegal activity. And then you've got your your overhead per hour, your overhead per billable resource per hour. Some people call it a recovery rate. We call it an overhead. And that is variable as they come. So it's absolutely variable. What I would encourage you with your overhead. Now, if you just fix it how it is, it's kind of like jumping into a car and being like, okay, it's a 70-litre tank. You siphon out the petrol like some kind of psycho, and you're like, oh, there's 35 litres in there. So 35 is it's a half full tank. So I can get 500 Ks because I'm a Kia Carnival, the world's greatest gift to cars everywhere. Am I right? Family car, 101. Amazing. So it's kind of like going, okay, I can get 500 Ks out. But, you know, what if you drive the car? You're getting less. What if you fill the car up? So it's like, it's not fixed at 500. It can change north or south depending on what you do with it. Your overhead, to sit there and see your overhead on paper, which you will have a number. You will have a number. It might say 65. It might say 55. It might say 25. But it also could be wrong. And it also can be adjusted. So it's interesting. You've got the sort of fixed part variable wage rate. You've got the super, which is fixed. You've got the 100% variable, which is the overhead. And I want to, in the next episode, I'm going to delve right into this because this could go forever. This could go for as long as a piece of string. And I want to run you through some clients we have and what their overheads are and how we control them, which is so interesting to talk about because there is a market realm for how much you should be charging. And if you can't fit into that market, you might just be outpriced in that market. And there might be no point you even quoting this thing. So it's so interesting to go into your break-even rate and work out the variable components. And don't even get me started on the variable, which is the human component. You're selling labor. People need to do that labor. No robot is climbing in the roof just yet. No robot is jumping under a house just yet. No robot's fitting off that PowerPoint. Guess who's fitting off that PowerPoint? Hopefully not you. Hopefully your second or third or first year apprentice. And that could be a mature age, that could be a junior. They could be an absolute weapon and they could be an absolute punish to deal with. So when you've got the subjectivity of a labor, of the quality of labor, who's doing the hours? Is Ted doing the hours? Who's a godsend, sent from heaven, weapon. That's a quality 1,000 hours. Or is Bill doing the hours? Bill's an absolute kook. Bill sucks. We all know Bill sucks. But so if you're working to a budget of hours, 1,000 hours, who's doing them? Are they any good? What do they cost you? So I want to leave this one here. I want to rip the handbrake up here, get into break-even rates next time. But if a quote comes in your desk, it's the easiest thing to get wrong, and it's the hardest thing to correct. So you want to, the money's made a loss in the office. If you don't understand that, I pray you understand that, because if it takes you a mistake to understand that, you will have made a mistake. You will have made a mistake. You'll have made a mistake, and you don't want to make a mistake. The office is where you set your break-even rates. The office is where you control your time. The office is where you submit how many hours and materials total to get that quote across. The office is the engine room. No engine, car doesn't drive. Just picture it like that. You have the sickest car with no engine, doesn't go anywhere. The money's made a loss in the office. Get the quote right in the office first. When you send it, you should be pleasing the current person, and you should be pleasing the person in 2 years. You don't want to be mopping up any messes in 2 or 3 years' time. Items that you get wrong that are large take time to recover from. And when you're recovering, it can be an incredibly volatile and dangerous part of business. You can make some mistakes. When you're recovering, your energy is usually quite low, or you're exerting energy in the wrong spots. You've got money to pay back, time to pay back. You've got relationships to rebuild. It takes a lot of effort to get back to a general maintaining level. So my encouragement is to don't be scared, be aware. Don't be scared, be aware. Don't be scared. This shouldn't petrify you. This shouldn't be like, I'll never quote a job over $10,000 again. It shouldn't be like that. But you should be aware. Or as Scar says from The Lion King, be prepared. What a movie. Hope you can feel the love tonight. See you guys for next time. Bye. That's a wrap on another episode of the Sparky Coach podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. It would mean a lot to us if you could like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, and leave a comment if you think that pleases the electrical gods. And we hope this episode and all our episodes propel you in your trade God ordained destiny of making money, building wealth, and being kind. Thanks so much for all your support. See you guys soon.